marimba music in the air, a festive environment in the town hall, and teams squaring off for a Guatemalan tradition that blends sport with an observance of last week's spring equinox. More than 10 teams from indigenous groups came together recently for a tournament that doesn't have a name like bowling or golf. Several reporters referred to it simply as the Mayan ball game. And while it bears similarities to soccer, except that players use their hips instead of their feet, they're participating in a ritual event that's much older than any current varsity sport. In fact, a type of scorekeeping stone for this game that was found recently in Mexico is believed to be more than 1,000 years old. A very warm welcome to the world from A to Z. I'm Carl Azuz. The CEO of the Boeing Aerospace Company is leaving his job. It's part of major management changes at Boeing following a slew of issues in recent years with the planes the company makes. One high-profile incident occurred this January when a door plug blew out after a Boeing 737 MAX plane took off from Oregon. No serious injuries were reported, but that was followed by several other problems, from defects to loose parts associated with Boeing aircraft this year. CEO Dave Calhoun says he plans to retire at the end of 2024, though he still wants to make sure the company's safety and quality concerns are addressed. He says he's confident Boeing is up to the challenge and will get it figured out, but some investors say it'll take more than a management shakeup to restore confidence in Boeing. Okay, next today, scientists at MIT are exploring new and simpler methods of desalination, the process of turning salt water into drinking water.
On a planet of nearly 8 billion people, Earth's freshwater supply is getting dirtier, saltier, and scarcer. Making salt water sweet demands the kind of energy and infrastructure that's just out of reach for the most desperate societies.
I really had a chance to teach in a rural area in China. I was really shocked to see that how struggling they were to get some clean water.
Some of the most promising breakthroughs in water tech are coming from the melting pot laboratories of Boston, where MIT's Yang Zhong and Linang Zhang invented a machine the size of a suitcase that mimics the circulation power of the ocean. Powered only by sunlight, they say their prototype can desalinate 6 liters an hour at a cost cheaper than tap water.
So for a device that has the footprint of a solar panel, this will cost around like $150 to $200.
Welcome to the Carson Beach. Solar panel, battery, portable desalination unit.
Meanwhile, another team from MIT came up with another potential game changer.
Just drink it.
We just sent our most recent prototype to the U.S. Army that can produce the 10 liter per hour of the drinking water with a direct feed of the seawater.
Jung Yo tells me his startup ICP WaterTech is just getting its first millions in investment. And after 2 students from India met as MIT lab partners and set out to clean and recycle the dirtiest of industrial waste, their company Gradient is the first in the sector to be valued at $1 billion.
On this date in world history.
We are going to the moon and back on this date in world history.
The first known detailed photo of the moon was taken in 1840. The daguerreotype by scientist and photographer John Draper showed craters, mountains, valleys, and other rocky terrain that hadn't been seen before. One of the moon's craters is named after John Draper's son, Henry, who was also a photographer. On March 26, 1934, driving tests were introduced for the first time in the United Kingdom. It came at a time when an average of 7,000 people died in car accidents there each year. And Egypt and Israel signed a historic peace treaty on this date in 1979, formally ending 3 decades of hostilities between the 2 neighboring countries. The treaty had been agreed upon the previous year, and the 2 nations' leaders shared a Nobel Peace Prize for making it.
World of knowledge. Which of these diseases is most closely associated with the destruction of myelin, the material around nerve fibers? Multiple sclerosis, tuberculosis, tendinitis, ALS. Numerous diseases can impact the body's myelin sheaths, but they're directly attacked in patients with multiple sclerosis.
More than 2.8 million people around the globe have been diagnosed with the debilitating neurological disease multiple sclerosis, or MS. That number has increased over the last several years, and doctors aren't sure why. But according to new research, something that may be as important as the medications that patients take are their biological ages. Not the number of years they've lived, but the condition their bodies are in. Doctors say biological age can be lowered by managing weight, blood pressure, and blood sugar, the foods we eat, the exercise and sleep we get. Of course, this has benefits for all of us, but it may be key in helping MS patients manage their symptoms.
It's a disease where the body's immune system attacks the central nervous system. Multiple sclerosis inflames the brain, spinal cord, and optic nerves.
The prevalence has been increasing over the past decade for unclear reasons.
Neurologist Dr. Benjamin Segal with Ohio State's Wexner Medical Center says MS symptoms can start in episodes that resolve when a patient is younger, but over time, more attacks can happen. The progressive form of the disease can lead to lasting decline in neurological disability. Symptoms of attacks include balance problems, muscle weakness, problems with cognition, paralysis, and tremors.
As healthcare professionals, we try to alter the course of the disease to decrease attacks and ultimately delay the progressive transition into this relentless decline.
The researchers say biological age, which measures lifelong damage to cells and organs, can be more important than chronological age, which is simply the number of years a person has lived in determining the form and severity of MS. Segal says researchers are studying how to slow down or reverse biological aging to better care for patients with MS and improve quality of life. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
An artist and weaver in Finland says it's possible to peel a birch tree in order to extract its bark without killing it. But why would someone want to do this?
In his cabin in southern Finland, 87-year-old Erkki Pekarinen carves delicate strips of birch bark with a knife before intricately weaving them together.
You can make whatever your imagination will allow out of it, pretty much anything, starting with everyday items such as these bread baskets.
Using a stockpile of barks he collects from friends and family, Pekarinen crafts whatever comes to mind. His art gallery in Azuz is filled with all kinds of objects, most constructed with nothing but woven birch bark. No glue, no nails. Pekarinen has crafted everything from detailed wooden jewelry and handbags to toy ducks. But his crowning piece? A full suit, complete with a hat and matching briefcase. He even has a birch bark phone case. Pekarinen says his interest in weaving bark goes back to his youth, when he worked as a lumberjack. But bark weaving dates back much further. It's been practiced as long as man has lived in Nordic regions. Actually, to this day in Finnish, to collect bark means to make money, because bark used to be so highly prized. And for good reason. Bark has water-resistant and insulating properties, and it lasts.
Well, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. One thing all of us news anchors are great at is mispronouncing names. So, Coach, please forgive me if I'm nowhere close on saying Dubuissons or Dubuissons class. We are happy to have the Tomcats watching at Stone Middle School in Wiggins, Mississippi. I'm a little more confident with Mr. Myers. His class at Heath Middle School is with us today. Great to see the Panthers watching from Greeley, Colorado. What better way to build hype for the Star Wars Empire than to project the Empire onto the Empire State Building? 46 different projectors were reportedly used to do this recently. It was part of a publicity stunt to get people excited for May the 4th, as in May the 4th be with you, a kind of Star Wars holiday that Lucasfilm plans to capitalize on. One of the producers of this project said the building is a very unique canvas. But it's not the only one. They could have used a Darth Maul, a Cinemothma or Movie Vader, the Kano Beach, a Tano Salon, an Akbar and Grill, a Boba Festival, a Solo Power Station, the Jar Jar Banks, a group of C-3PO boxes. I mean, heck, even a modest hut could do the job. I'm Carl Azuz, projecting puns on the world from A to Z, and yo, the best part of what we do, you mean the galaxy to me.